Hello, everybody. Christian Jack here inside Swansea City Stadium, where Canada will play Wales on Tuesday. It was also where head coach Jesse Marsch and midfielder Ismail Kone met the media in the matchday -1 press conference. The first time Ismail has addressed the media since his actions in Romania during the second half on Friday. You can see all across One Soccer socials what Ismail had to say about that. It was also where Jesse Marsch went into defense of his goalkeeper, Dayne St. Clair.
I get a little bit frustrated when I see that publicly certain players in our group that specifically have performed really well get treated poorly by our fan base. And look, I said this about Kyle a while, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I'll say it very clearly about Dayne. Like, Dayne has been outstanding for the national team since I've been here. Outstanding. He hasn't given up one bad goal. He's performed at a really high level. At Gold Cup, I thought he was also outstanding. You know, the save he makes in the beginning of the match against Guatemala keeps us in the game. Penalties in the end can go any way. Max did well in penalties in Copa America. Dayne's been in the goal for 3 penalties, and it hasn't gone our way. But for his club, he's done well on penalties. So I think Dayne's been the best goalkeeper in MLS this entire season. He was an all-star. I think he well deserved, and I think that I really like Max, and I really believe in the qualities he brings and who he is as a person and the goalkeeper he is. But I feel the same about Dayne. They're different in different ways, but Dayne has been outstanding since I've been here as a goalkeeper for us.
Some fascinating comments there from Jesse Marsch, something similar that he did recently in defense of his striker, Kyle Larin. Now, while I was here in Swansea, I got to sit down with goalkeeper Dayne St. Clair and asked him how his recent mindset is.
Yeah, I definitely feel good. I think my club form is definitely speaking for itself with being an all-star again this year and where my team is at the top of the West. And I think with the national team, of course, I think the penalty shootouts kind of tarnish it a little bit, but I think if you look at the goals I've conceded or lack thereof in the games that I have played, I feel like I have played well for the national team, and I think the penalty shootouts, of course, I know that I can do better and I'm capable of doing better, but I think if you look at the 90 minutes and keeping the ball at the net and supporting the team, I've done a good job in those moments.
It was interesting, wasn't it, that Dayne went towards the penalty shootouts to talk about maybe a little bit of loss in confidence, something as well that Jesse Marsch referred to in his press conference. Dayne actually has a fantastic record for club in penalty shootouts, having won 4 of the last 5. In fact, the shot conversion rate against Dayne in those shootouts for Minnesota is 24 of 34, so roughly around 70%. It is for Canada, where he's lost all 4 shootouts and only prevented 3 of 21 shots, so roughly a conversion rate of around 86%. But Dayne maintains that when he's playing games away from the shootout, he still feels like he can certainly be Canada's number 1. The race for that shirt remains extremely tight. 22 games under Jesse Marsch, 11 for Maxime Crepeau so far, and 11 for Dayne St. Clair. So we know that Jesse Marsch eventually will have to name a goalkeeper ahead of the World Cup. I sat down with Dayne again and asked him when he thinks the ideal time would be that Jesse would name that goalkeeper.
Realistically, we have September, October, November, March. So that's kind of 3 or 4 windows. So I'm assuming, of course, for the MLS guys, we're starting a new season going into that March. So if I was to think, I would assume that it might be that March window is where he was to circle and pick somebody.
If Dayne is indeed proven correct, that means that he has 3 international windows until March to prove that he can be Canada's number 1 goalkeeper, and likely then 3 games, starting here in Swansea on Tuesday night. That means the game is no bigger for anybody else than the goalkeeper himself. Join us live on TSN and One Soccer from 2 o'clock Eastern, 2:45 kickoff here in Swansea.